We are joined now by Frederic Gemus from Tribute, who is the game director for Marvel Cosmic Invasion, a good old-fashioned beat-em-up. For those of you watching the video, you can see that Fred has a massive collection of classic games, so clearly knows what he's doing. Yeah, let's talk about that. We want to know, like, you like beat-em-ups? Name your top 3 old school beat 'em ups.
Oh God, that's a tough one right away. I think obviously the X-Men arcade games, pretty much an instant classic. Love the Streets of Rage series. I would have a hard time trying to figure out which one is the best out of that. And then I think the Punisher also. Punisher arcade.
Ooh, good one.
It's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah, they just put the Punisher arcade game out in a collection recently, so I got to revisit that. And I'm right there with you. I can't name my favorite Streets of Rage. I like 4, but I feel like I always want to go with the one that has the kangaroo in it.
Yeah, it's hard to pick another one than the kangaroo for sure.
So you clearly know your stuff. You made a brand new Marvel beat 'em up game. It's so much fun. It's gorgeous. You completely got the assignment here. Tell us about sort of how this game came together. Like what was, like, from the original idea to it getting released? How did this come about?
So pretty much right after we finished our previous game, TMNT, we started looking at what would be our next dream project, because basically we were on a high note and we really wanted to, just keep the ball rolling into another project that would be like a pure passion. And I think Marvel was pretty much on top of our list. We all grew up with the Marvel universe, either the cartoons, the comic books. Like, as you can hear from my accent, I come from from Canada, the French Canadian. So I looked at the comic books when I was young, and I couldn't necessarily understand everything because I didn't speak English very well at that time. But still, love these characters because they were so strong and so colorful. And then the all of the Marvel arcade game legacy is so strong that this is definitively something that that spoke to us, and we reached out to Marvel pretty much right away and get the discussions going, and I think at the same time Dotemu started doing the same, so we obviously talked about cooperating again together. And I think at one point our ideas get into the Marvel Games Steam desk, and they were like, oh, this is what we need to do. This is perfect for us, for our portfolio.
What was it like kind of working with them collaboratively, like going back and forth? Would you email them and be like, hey, we want Spider-Man to do this, and they would say yes or no? Like, how was that sort of communication like? Were there rules? Did you get to break any?
So I think that this is probably one of the best collaborations we had, because the team at Marvel Games, they love games. That's in their name. They know what they're doing. They're working with all of these amazing teams, and their motto is basically trying to make sure that what we do is the tribute version of the Marvel universe, just as much as Insomniac will do the Insomniac version of the Marvel universe, the Marvel Rivals version. So they want us to stick true to what we do best, but also they collaborate a lot, giving us insights and helping us navigate this rich world that is the Marvel universe. And they were pretty much on board, collaborating with us, trying to figure out, the character lineup, the move sets and such. But they were really, I think, as excited as us working on a classic beat 'em up like that. So it really was mostly a smooth ride. Like, I'm even surprised because this is so big. This is such a rich and complex universe that has like so many decades of lore that you have to respect. But we're still fans of the Marvel universe, so it was kind of an easy ride as much for us.
So something I'm fascinated about by this game is that you've got very clearly a lot of retro sensibilities, but you've incorporated some recent characters or some more modern characters. And it's, you've got these, you've got household names. You got the most iconic, you got Wolverine, you got Cap, you got, Spider-Man in there. But then you've got like, Beta Ray Bill, and you've got Cosmic Ghost Rider and Phyla Vel, who maybe aren't, household names exactly. How did you land on this roster exactly?
So again, like the first discussions we had with the game was I think the first thing we decided was to have a large roster of characters. Like, I think we settled on the 15 playable superheroes right at the beginning. So that was already like the main focus of the game, like trying to make sure that we get an experience that would be celebrating all the diversity and the variety of characters that this universe had. And obviously that was the toughest task because you have all of these colorful and inspiring characters that you'd like to have. And but I think the focus we tried to have was balancing things between the classic characters that would be present into the well, not only the video games from back in the days, but also that have been there forever, but also having a shot at maybe new faces or deeper cuts that we don't often see around. And even though like characters such as Filevel or Cosmic Ghost Rider were not necessarily it didn't exist back in the days when the arcade games were strong, we thought it would be fun to have kind of this alternate version of them running into pixel art. But yeah, it was really fun, especially like characters like Beta Ray Bill. Like Beta Ray Bill for us was a great pick because you can see Thor in many games out there, but there aren't many games featuring Beta Ray Bill. So, and we thought that this is our shot at trying to define what type of gameplay Beta Ray Bill could have in terms of in an action game. Like how does he beat enemies? So how does he use the hammer and such? So it was really fun for us to be able to help players discover these characters that they might not be well aware of.
That's really cool. So you got to sort of define what these kind of deeper cut characters could operate like in a video game for one of the first times. That's awesome. I want to talk a bit about the sort of buddy system that you have, because I think it's really cool that when you start this game up, you're like, oh my god, I have all these choices. Who do I pick? And it's like, well, you get 2 scoops of ice cream basically, which I really dig. Was that something your team kind of like envisioned from the very beginning, or like how did that happen? Because it's very unique for beat 'em ups. Usually you're just locked into a character, especially some of the old ones you named earlier. So how did that come together?
I think you said it pretty well. Like when we settled on the 15 playable character roster, we had the same idea. Like how can player pick their favorite like one character out of all of this without really knowing what the challenge will be and how everything will play out. So and also we really wanted to make sure that we didn't have 15 playable characters that would feel like reskin or would share all the same abilities, and we really wanted to make sure that these superheroes would express themselves the way they should. Therefore that meant that some characters would have grabs, some characters could fly, other can use blast of energies as projectiles to defeat enemies far away. So it became clear to us that with so many options, it could get overwhelming for the players to actually pick and choose the best ones. And the idea for having the cosmic swap came pretty early, actually. We thought of it mostly as building one character and taking 2 characters and building them into one so that you can match their abilities and it becomes this kind of tool set that you can use. And so yeah, you can pick basically like a ground character and a flying character, and you'd be like, oh, okay, so I'm covered. But advanced players will figure out like, oh, there are more combinations that you can use. Also, like having a very strong melee character that can come in with another faster character that could potentially extend the combo and come in. So we try to see it as a way to add more depth, and basically even if we had 15 playable characters, that it would become like a roster of 150 playable characters by combining them together.
That's very true. What's equally fascinating is how kind of not narratively, but like personality wise, they all combine with each other. Yeah. And I feel like they all have a lot of very distinct interactions. Can you tell us about sort of the different unique ways they tag each other in, or different ways characters will interact with each other, if there's any in particular you're fond of?
So when we tried many iterations of the system, trying to see like how much control we can give to the players, and we felt that at one point it was easier for players to basically just think of the best timing to use the cosmic swap and have it figure out basically the context of what's happening on screen and come in with the right action. So if you tap in the middle of a combo, your teammate is going to come in and keep the attacks going, so and extend that combo. But it became clear afterward that, oh, okay, but it's fun if you throw an enemy in air and you have a flying character, to have your teammate coming in flying and basically keeping that enemy locked into air. And then we push it a bit further by having also the assist. So basically have a second character on screen coming in and helping out with an action, and map everything into either contextual for the swap, but also for the assist, mapping the kind of the action buttons that you're pressing so that the context also makes sense. And you can but yeah, it's a system that can go really deep, but our challenge was really making sure that, you know, younger players can just mash the cosmic swap button and have a good time and see a bunch of cool things happening on screen still.
The game is out now. Tons of people are playing it. People love it. Are there any sort of Easter eggs that IGN viewers should look out for that you tucked in there, without getting too crazy into spoiler stuff? But is there like a personal favorite Easter egg or two that they should look out for?
There is the Destromundo stage that is basically Lady Hellbender's collection of critters from from all around the galaxy, and I feel like these are very obvious Easter eggs because they're giants, but there's a lot of characters in there that are pretty cool, like Fing Fang Foom, and even are like fans of the Marvel's favorite Jeff the Land Shark is there as well. But there's also deeper cuts like Brute Force, which was the team of powered up animals from the 90s that are in there. In terms of lore and such, I really love the first stage, the New York City stage, because there's all of these like the Daily Bugle with the headlines talking about other characters in the Marvel universe, seeing the Fisk Constructions background, even the secret hospital for MG.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it was a blast trying to figure out, but at the same time, it's kind of I'm really looking forward, like the having players, make these awesome Easter egg hunts video that that they love, because we love them as well, and see like what they missed and what are the other things that we added in there that that missed opportunity that we had also. It's
bittersweet because I love having all this detail in the background, all this stuff to look at, but then if I get distracted by it, I get my butt kicked, like some guy who's flying from off screen and I catch fire or whatever.
It's always a struggle.
Which powers were the hardest to gamify? Because you've got like Omega level mutants and you've got more street level characters. How do you find that sort of sweet spot in terms of what captures the power, but also what feels good in game?
Yeah, I think one of the toughest character to nail was Silver Surfer, because the power cosmic is so wide. Like in the comics, the power cosmic can be a lot of different things, even in the movies as well. Like the power cosmic in the latest Fantastic Four movie is this mysterious space force, but having a character using it we needed to have a Silver Surfer use it, but at the same time, how do you define what it can do? And we tried to reinterpret these abilities in terms of beat 'em up by having some sort of damage over time that can also be used as a way to kind of stun lock an enemy and keep them, like root them into place. But then we were like, hey, you know what? The Silver Surfer is on that surfer board, and we really need to use it. And then we come up with the kind of the wave riding mechanic that is so fun to use with the rising attacks and the diving attacks. So I think this character was pretty fun to design. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, our philosophy was just making sure that, if everybody is overpowered, then things get balanced. Everybody is on the same page, it's fine. And I think this is what you need to do for a superhero game, like to live up to the fantasy. And then, this is the starting point from which we balance the game.
I wanted to ask you a bit about that, specifically the sort of difficulty levels and the challenge of the game, because you mentioned earlier having a kid play the game, and my kid played it, and then you also have to connect with someone like me, right, who's been playing beat 'em up games forever, went to birthday parties and arcades as a kid and stuff, and we don't necessarily want something that's like just mindless button mashing. We want a bit of that, but we also want a bit of depth, which I think, like, recent games like the Streets of Rage and the Turtles games and stuff like that do a really good job of sort of elevating the genre a little bit. So how did you strike that balance? Because that's a tough one to walk.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I think the thought process we had was just making sure that from the get-go, like I have a young kid as well, and just picking up the controller and managing multiple buttons is always quite a challenge. So we wanted to make sure that even though you button mash, you can pretty much get through a few of the first levels in the game, and there are tougher enemies, but you'll get help for that. But yeah, the afterward, I think the challenge was basically how do we nail the difficulty curve, and I feel like we kind of struck a good balance where the first stages of the game that are mostly on Earth are pretty easy to pick up, but then as we go further and further into space, you start to have like weirder enemies and tougher baddies, and yeah, we always try to make sure that the campaign is basically one difficulty level, and your first shot at the game, there's you can replay stages, you have safe progression, so even if it's a bit tougher later, you still get a chance to retry. There's no worries. But then for players who want to have like a tougher challenge, we have the arcade mode, which has a bunch of modifiers that you can set, and you can not only change the difficulty of the game, which affects the behavior of the enemies, how fast they attack, how aggressive they are, but you can also even play the enemy layouts from multiplayer, even if you're playing solo, because that's another thing we do as well. So if you play 1 player, 2 player, 4 players, the number of enemies on screen will be adjusted to that. And it's not just like we put more enemies. There are really like pure level design that has been done. Kevin, our level designer, basically does all of the stages 3 times with all of the different enemy combinations, so that when you're playing multiplayer, everybody's busy and it's not just like more people hitting the same target. So yeah, all of this gives a lot of replay value for more advanced players, but there's also like options in there to make the challenge easier and get infinite credits and such. So it's not too much of a
I think you should add a real hardcore mode that properly captures the original arcade experience, and every life costs an extra 25 cents. Just charges your PSN account.
Yeah, microtransactions.
My mom's off to the side and she's yelling. She's like, "Come on, we gotta leave." I get
Venmo request your parents. You gotta do it old school. Who's your personal favorite edition? Like, who is, as a Marvel fan, like which character just made you light up and turn into a big kid again?
I think like it's pretty hard because I had the chance to participate into choosing all of the characters, so I made sure that I loved all of them. But I think like the classic combo of Captain America and Iron Man, like, because there's all these lines that the characters will tell themselves when we swap, that we wrote, and make sure that would give personality to them. Like, I really love how like both characters interact and how their skills complete themselves. But at the same time, I really love the chaos of playing 2 crazy characters like Cosmic Ghost Rider and Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon is it's pretty much my favorite design, but I would say it's a very wild character to play.
Seeing him eat a hot dog off the street in New York City kind of made my year. That was wonderful.
I think he's the only character where that actually makes sense for him to pick up food out of the ground.
There's always this thing that we're not sure, like, we have to health pick up, but there's going to be on the ground. So yeah, there's some hot dog and pizza eating from the ground. It's part of the trope.
I mean, the final fight had like the mayor eating, raw chicken out of a garbage can or whatever. So he still won re-elections.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Crazier things have happened in politics. So I don't want to put you in the hot spot too much, but one of the coolest things about Shredder's Revenge was the sort of post-launch lineup, and you got a bunch, like, you hear about a TMNT beat 'em up, you expect 4 turtles, and you kept adding more characters, which was so cool. is that something that maybe players could expect for Cosmic Invasion?
So you want more characters? There's 15. No,
Gamers, man, they're so greedy.
Yeah,
it's never enough.
So definitely something that, like right now we don't have anything to announce, but we'll see like the reception of the of fans. I mean, it's always something that is a possibility and that we'll be looking at, like and we'll keep maintaining the game. I know that there's a day one patch that just came out as well, so to fix a few issues that some people noted. So we'll definitely keep the game alive, and under which form I don't know, but yeah, it's nothing is off the table for sure.
Cool. That's not a no. I love it. Let's talk about the soundtrack a little bit, because I feel like you managed to do a really good job of kind of blending that the operatic orchestral kind of like MCU feeling for the kind of the title screen, and then it goes into just classic like just chiptune like beat 'em up territory. What was it like finding that particular sort of vibe?
I'm very happy with the soundtrack. T. Lopes, amazing composer. Like once again, back working with us. Like he's such an amazing guy, a very talented artist. And yeah, you pretty much nailed it. Like the first talk we had about the game was how can we get that Cosmic Invasion team in there to hype things up, and then make callbacks to it and build all of the richness of the universe around it. And T did a great job. Like I really love the Wakanda track. It's pretty cool. It mixes chiptunes and other types of sounds that you couldn't do in the arcade. So we're not necessarily trying to get too much stuck into a genre in particular. So I think it's pretty fun. But yeah, he did an amazing job, and he worked also this time around. We had an audio designer with us, Pat, who did a lot of, he worked closely with T to make sure that some of these songs can also evolve as stages go. So for example, stages that have multiple parts, the songs would progress and evolve. So we really again pushed like what we did before and tried to improve on it.
Awesome.
Now, before we go, do you have any tips for first-time players jumping in?
I say, don't be afraid to use a Cosmic Swap. This is so whenever we pick up the game, like players, they tend to forget about the feature because we didn't want it to force it or make it mandatory, especially for the younger audiences. But whenever something cool is happening on screen, just tap the Cosmic Swap and see what happens. And usually things get exponentially cool. So
awesome.
It's a really versatile feature.
Frederic, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is out now for basically everything. And if you've ever wanted to make Wolverine eat food off the floor, now's your chance. So
absolutely,
check it out.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip from Beyond, IGN's weekly PlayStation show. You can find the full episode over on youtube.com/IGN Games. And don't forget, new episodes of Beyond drop every Wednesday on IGN.com, the IGN Games YouTube, and all your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks again for watching, and as always, Beyond.